In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Mahatma Gandhi.
What if I told you that some of the most powerful leaders in history weren't the loudest voices in the room? They weren't the ones commanding attention with noise and charisma. They were the quiet ones, the ones who led through presence, wisdom, and action. And here's the truth most people miss. If you are over 40 and introverted, you may already carry the qualities of a great leader, qualities the world desperately needs right now. Today I want to reveal why introverts over 40 secretly make some of the best leaders. Not in spite of their quiet nature, but because of it. For decades, society has glorified a single image of leadership: the bold, charismatic extrovert, the CEO who dominates the stage, the politician who rallies crowds with fiery speeches, the boss who never stops talking. But here's the problem. Leadership is not about noise. It's not about who talks the most or who gets the most attention. It's about who people trust. When everything is on the line, history proves this. Abraham Lincoln was a quiet, thoughtful man who preferred solitude to spotlight. Gandhi led a movement, not with shouts, but with silence and moral authority. Even Albert Einstein once said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." The world has been misled to believe that leadership belongs only to the extroverted. But once you peel back the surface, the opposite often turns out to be true. Introverts excel in one skill that's becoming increasingly rare: listening. Not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak, but real listening. The kind that makes people feel seen and understood. After 40, this ability becomes even more powerful because by now you've lived enough, struggled enough, and endured enough to understand what people are really saying beneath their words. Leaders who listen don't just give orders, they build trust. They create environments where people feel safe to contribute, to share, to follow. And that's leadership at its highest form. Introverts rarely rush. While the world glorifies speed, introverts understand the value of pausing, reflecting, weighing options. At 40 and beyond, this trait becomes a superpower because you're no longer making decisions just for yourself. You're guiding families, businesses, communities, and rash, impulsive choices can destroy everything you've worked for. An introverted leader isn't the captain who steers blindly into the storm. They are the one who studies the winds, knows the map, and adjusts the sails with precision. It's not flashy, but it's what keeps the ship afloat. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. In fact, often they are the most insecure. Introverts, however, understand that leadership is not about commanding attention. It's about embodying the values you want others to follow. When you're over 40, people notice more than what you say. They notice how you live, your consistency, your discipline, your quiet resilience. True leaders don't scream their greatness. They walk into a room and their presence alone inspires trust. Introverts may not have hundreds of surface-level relationships, but the connections they do build run deep. This matters more after 40 than ever before, because shallow networks fade, but loyal, authentic connections built on trust and respect can last a lifetime. Introverted leaders create teams and communities that are bonded not by fear or hype, but by loyalty and shared vision. And that's why people follow them, not just for a season, but for decades. Of course, being an introverted leader isn't easy. Society still undervalues quiet confidence. People may mistake your silence for weakness. You may be overlooked in rooms filled with louder voices. But here's the shift that happens after 40. You begin to care less about being underestimated and more about being authentic. The pressure to impress fades. The desire to lead with integrity grows stronger. What once felt like a weakness now becomes your edge. So imagine this with me for a moment. A generation of introverts over 40 stepping into leadership. Leaders at home, creating stability for their families. Leaders in business, guiding with wisdom rather than ego. Leaders in communities, leading not with noise, but with vision. What would the world look like if wisdom replaced bravado? If reflection replaced impulsivity? If trust replaced fear? That world is possible, and it begins with you. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice. It's about being the steady hand people can rely on when life gets uncertain. And if you are an introvert over 40, you already carry that within you. So the next time you doubt your power, remember this: your quiet strength is not holding you back. It may be the very thing that makes you the leader others are waiting for. If this message resonated with you, share your story in the comments. Do you consider yourself an introverted leader? Or are you just starting to embrace the power of your quiet strength? Your journey might be the exact inspiration someone else needs today.